some information for us?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, a couple of things I want to mention. First of all, for those of you that traveled Main Street this morning, you probably saw that we have some pieces of pavement missing. That evidently was the result of water being underneath when the pavement was poured, and so Allegheny Asphalt will be coming back and replacing that, milling it down and replacing it as soon as the weather allows. In case you haven't noticed, it's been raining a little bit. In fact, we had earlier today over 2.5 inches of rain, and I'm pleased to report that we only had one overflow during that time. So it says that all of the sewer work that we have been doing is finally paying some results. People will soon see a change here at Town Hall. We have taken down the flagpole at the old Clifton Forge High School, and we'll be placing it in front of Town Hall in place of the one that's already there, because the flag, the American flag that we are flying, is actually too large for the size pole that we have. And if we have the larger pole, we're able to fly multiple flags on it. So if you see some work going on, don't panic. It's not that we're doing any major work on the building itself, but we are in fact replacing the pole. I know a lot of us were very disappointed when we heard, and heard fairly belatedly, that IGA was closing. They really didn't give the town any notice of that. As I understand it from having talked to the proprietor, he had a 1-year lease, and that lease was about to expire, and he was having difficulty in making ends meet. I really impressed upon him that we wished we had known that he was having difficulty, so that we could have hopefully rallied people around and warned him that if he went to another community, he ought to certainly take advantage of making folks aware of it. But of course the decision had already been made by the time that I spoke with him. I have made at least 20 phone calls to the owner of the building. That's a Mr. Jerry Arnold, because he was leasing the building to IGA and had been unable to reach him. His cell phone, the only contact I have, is a mailbox full of messages, but I continue to try to reach him to see what his plans are for the building. I do have a couple of ideas about other grocery stores that might be interested in the site, excuse me, but have been unwilling to make any contact until I know what Mr. Arnold's ideas and plans are for the building itself. But please know that the town is very concerned. We think it's important to have that type of business in our downtown, and we're going to do whatever we can to try to recruit another grocery store chain to come in there. And I think, Mr. Mayor, other than the minutes that were just approved, and at that work session we did talk about a dog park that has been suggested by citizens. It will not be funded by the town, contrary to some of the comments that I've seen about the dog park. When we were approached, we said we'd be happy to provide the land, but we did not have funding for the park. There is a GoFundMe account that has raised, I think, a little over $100 at this point, and we do have a grant application pending that we should hear next month as to whether or not there's funding coming from that direction. There were also some reports about a trail group that's interested in not only maintaining existing trails, but perhaps developing some new trails in town. A possible stenciling project that would make people hopefully more aware of the fact that when they dump anything into the street, whether that be grass clippings or cigarette butts or paper, that it does go into the storm drains and then into the creeks and the rivers. And so we want to try to prevent that pollution. And lastly, we have interested, and I'm glad to see Nancy in the audience tonight, the idea has been brought up by the Curb Appeal Group about the possibility of getting our middle and high school students engaged in a project where they would paint the 2 sets of stairs that we have on either side of Keswick as another way to entice people to perhaps park in those areas, as parking becomes more of a challenge in our downtown. And we hope that we'll be able to, when school starts, make that project happen and use the talent that we know we have within the student groups here in the Allegheny Highlands. And I believe that's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.